Remember to refresh.
Tell me when the stream goes up for you guys. Is it up? I think it's back up.
That's up. We're back. We're back.
Sweet.
Send out that shout to refresh for everyone.
Yeah, Panda already
I just did.
Sweet. Okay, let's get back on topic. What were we talking?
What advertisement
It's
is
still
this?
flat. Okay, well, I don't know.
Well, we did talk about the voice chat in that the community, at least here in this podcast, is split out as to who wants it.
Well, I mean, it's probably going to be something that's going to come into the game at some point. Some people might use it. I know BNS had that voice chat for party where you could talk to your party members in game if you wanted to, but it was mostly the Korean players that used it at the time when I played on the Korean servers. This was like in 2012, 2013, though. So, I mean, maybe some people use it, some people won't. It's how it is gonna. It's just how it's gonna go. And we still have yet to get the 5-pet. I think the 5-pet patch and an assortment of other things too in the game too as well.
I don't think it'd be worth it because
They
it
need
somewhat
a-
render Discord useless.
I mean, it would be nice, but then I can see a lot of people just being weird in like area chat, like especially me. But it's being weird and playing this in game where you can't really control it, where you can control it in Discord, and move them, you know.
Yeah.
I don't see this. I don't see the voice thing as a huge issue.
It's not. It's-
we need 100 more things before we need voice chat in the game. I mean, my personal opinion.
I mean, yeah, that's just basically like a useless add-on until we get everything like the game mechanics down.
A quick question is this voice chat reserved to parties or is it party only, guild only? What is
It's
it?
guild only, I believe.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it too much. It's not going to kill Discord or TeamSpeak. It's going to have the marginal effect on it. To be honest, at that.
I think it's gonna bring out a lot of people, but
Oh my
A lot
god.
of trolls.
yeah, it's people blasting their radio and just going through the hideout.
Whoa.
But I mean, I'm sure if they do bring in voice functionality, they will bring in ways to control certain things, at least on your end. I'm sure they'll have mute options, volume options, and different things like that. I don't think it's just going to be, okay, guys, here's voice. You don't have any choice but to hear these people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, if I was them had voice, I'd be the first one to play the I will walk 500 miles down to Hideout, just going down there.
What?
Yeah.
Extra what?
The I will walk 500 miles. The song.
Oh my god.
Okay, well.
Because I will walk 500 miles and I will. Yeah, okay, got it.
I'll just play some country music.
All right. But a lot of news too as well. For those of you that don't know, if you haven't noticed that when you've been killing mobs, you have not been getting any, I guess, of the event items, the Laventia rings and so forth. Apparently, there was a slight error that happened last maintenance, so they apparently disabled it altogether until this week's maintenance that's coming up. So I don't know if they're going to extend the event or what they're going to do or compensate us. I'm guessing they're probably going to extend it. Granted, I don't know. I haven't grinded since I hit 60, so
Free shiny boxes for everyone.
That'd be the day.
Well, I think anything. Gosh. Well, if we get 2 shiny boxes, technically, it's more than anyone probably could have gotten, even if they were able to grind. Because this drop of those pearls it's the talk of the town. It's if you get one, you should have bought a lottery ticket because you had a better chance of winning a lottery than you did getting a
I got
pearl.
7 of those ancient pearls from grinding.
Okay. I don't know what to say. In KR or in
I've never played in KR. In our version, NA.
I got 5 from grinding. So actually, I got 4 from grinding.
How many hours would you guys say that you put into grinding?
I spent 100 hours grinding to 60.
Oh god.
I was just grinding to 59, so I'd probably it was a.
Where were you? Did you have a specific spot?
I grinded at Pirates.
Between Pirates, Banshams, and Soldier's Grave.
Okay, because the forums, which obviously is the information that I got it from, I mean, it's literally, they're saying the drop rate on it is would you guys compare it? Where would you compare its drop rate to? Is it Basilisk belts? What?
Oh no, it's really rare. It's not like, it was dropping like candy or whatever. I mean, I'm talking hours and hours of grinding over days, that I got 7 of them. So it wasn't, easy.
Zethian only got 1.
I got 4 Bogans in like
depends.
3 hours.
It really just depends on the luck of the draw, man. In all honesty, man, I picked
Anybody
up
else?
4 and
Yeah.
1 from Gather.
Anybody else in chat got any pearls? How many did you guys get? If you guys can
I got
list them
9
so
the
we can
entire
get it.
time from 57 to 58. None. Sorry.
That's
none.
crazy.
None. I meant none.
Yeah,
Oh.
I've gotten none.
Yeah, like I don't like. What's the drop rate? It's got to be rarer than most rare great items in the game, right?
I think it's about the same drop rate as the mats to make the tongue rat earrings. I think it's about that. Honestly, I feel like it's about the same drop rate as that.
Yeah, seriously.
To make the tongue ring.
Yeah, listen to this. Biceptimus Prime says got 4, 2 from gathering, 2 from grind. Lucky.
Yeah, 0. Another person with a 0. I mean, I think 0 is the consensus. Like that's like what most people got.
Yep, that's the average.
They got nothing.
Zeus and 0. Some people got
So
1. Some people got 2.
how Zeus got 9? You said you got 9.
I got 7.
Oh, 7. I
I
don't
got
know. You
4.
should have literally bet the lottery. You would not even be talking to us today. I mean, maybe after like a month, you spend some money, you'd come back to the game. But initially, you'd be buying yachts and going sailing, going around the world.
You give some other money, right? Right, Zeus?
Buying a
Wait,
pack of Doritos.
what?
I mean, and to be honest with you, the event is designed for everybody to get at least 1 box. That's how it's designed for.
Right.
So if you get 2, then you just have some unparalleled luck to just pick up so many pearls while grinding.
But this is what happens every time in this game. It's literally deja vu. If they extended another week, then it literally gives the people that were smart and that saved their pearls ability to do 2 boxes instead of 1. Where everybody's rationale was, oh, well, I'm only going to get 1 box. So I probably have a better chance of just using my pearls every day and see if RNG can give me better than 90 mil, which is what the best payout would have been potentially. Not even now because the market has been flooded. So it's not even 90 mil the top payout potentially.
You know what a lot of the players did? I was reading on Reddit, and a lot of players were on like their 10th box, and they were like, well, if I open all 10 of these boxes, I'm bound to get something good. And it would be Cronstones every single time.
It's true.
And they could have.
I know.
Yeah, because of that.
Sorry?
That's very true.
It's like you press the space bar, it automatically goes to Cronstone. I'm like, are you for real?
Yeah, well, the roll doesn't matter. It already has a predetermined item for you.
But this was but it's the same thing. So if they extend it again, the people that were obviously smart will get 2 boxes instead of 1. And this goes back to the boss armor with
How long are they going to extend it though? I mean, they would
It'd be a
probably
week.
extend
It'd
it for
probably be a
another.
week.
Yeah, I don't think
Which
that's
is
enough. I don't think that's enough for people
It's
to get
not enough.
2.
The design, the
You have
even
to
with
have 40 of those ancient pearls to get another one of those box.
yeah, and it takes 30 pearls to make 10 of those boxes, and the last 10 is used to make the shiny box with the 10 boxes that you made.
Like right now, I have 14 ancient pearls sitting in my inventory. Even if they extended this a week, I would not get enough to make another.
Yeah, you need like
shiny
what,
box.
20 something more.
Yeah, you would need a lot more. Plus, the event is off right now, as I said earlier too, because of the error that they had during the maintenance. So
well, no, you still get the pearls.
You still get the reward, yeah.
The 2 pearls a day, so that's 14 a week.
it's what I've you made I think
28
3 boxes.
28 in 2 weeks. 28 in 2 weeks. You need how many? 30? You said 30 pearls.
You need 40 total.
40 total and 30 to make 10 of those boxes. I don't think it's going to be enough.
It's not
Oh, you need
enough.
40. Yeah, it's not enough.
Unless you get really lucky again, or you're grinding like crazy to get them. And I mean, if someone is grinding that hard to get those ancient pearls and they manage to do it, then hands up to them, they deserve it. But to just someone, oh, I'm just gonna collect my rewards and get another box, that's not gonna happen.
This has been going on. Laventia started on the 8th. Is that on the 7th? Yeah. So
Regardless of, like I said, man, regardless of how you string it, the event was specifically designed for you to get one box and a few extra of the splendid boxes and so forth. That's how it was designed to. If you end up picking up some pearls here and there throughout the event, it just helped you gain your shiny box a lot quicker.
Right.
Have you guys been opening rings, or you been saving the diamonds and all that?
I've mostly been doing rings, to be honest with you.
Same.
Yeah,
I opened the
on
one
the
big
boxes.
box, and after that, I was kind of, whatever. So I started opening the rings.
It gave me crushes the rings.
I did manage to get like a Cecile's, some witches earrings.
Yeah.
I
I
got
think
a
the
couple
rings are better
concentrated.
than the second box.
What about the gold
I
one?
know one. I usually do the gold one
Yeah.
personally. I find the gold one has a better rate of receiving items out of it. I know for a fact I opened 30 one day. I picked up 2 Sicils, 2 Crescents, and 5 Soul Ogre rings. And
nice.
alas, I didn't get shit out of them, but
I got one Cecile's and I got a Cecile necklace. Loser.
the Ogre rings was the last thing, so I took a screenshot of it. I posted into a Discord. But wish me luck. They were all shattered. So.
Oh, right. Hey, that's like one.
She saved them.
Yeah, it's like 1/20th to an ogre ring.
I got a crushing rings from the shiny one.
From the
You know.
shiny one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, crescent, right. Oh, I thought you said
Ring.
soiled. Oh.
I got an ogre ring from mine.
Oh,
very
you
nice.
always,
Want to trade?
Only 15%
Oh,
of
No,
people.
dude, I sold it instantly.
Yeah.
What?
always gotta one
Yeah.
up somebody.
What? I wasn't trying to one up. I thought we were sharing. Oh my god.
God, Zeus, why you always gotta one up us? Ugh, I hate you so much.
Nobody cares about your ogre
It's
ring.
that 1% that just want to
So we could say the same about your
Wow.
crescent ring. Ooh, okay.
Oh my god.
All right. So, are we gonna head on to the next thing? Thingamadoohickey?
Oh yeah, so let's go ahead and slide our way into this one.
DM.
We all know that this is always the talk of the server, and everybody's usually discussing it in channel chat or whatever the case is. And it's always Node and Siege Wars and about the top guilds and which guild is in this tier as S plus or SS plus, whatever the case is. Let's go ahead and say triple S for heaven's sakes. You know, this week we've been on the whole topic of man up and what has been recently going on in that guild. And for those of you that don't know, according to the GM, and he stated on stream that the guild was having internal issues with egos, whatever the case is, with guild payout, people complaining about guild not paying out, the Mac and Shaq issue drama, where Shaq felt disrespected because Lucari said that Shaq used to be his favorite, but now Mac is.
Ooh.
I guess that sparked a
I
lot of
remember
heat.
Get disowned.
Now,
I remember
personally,
that.
when I heard that information, I kind of took that with a grain of salt. There's always more at play, and we've seen this pre-merger where these guilds do all these sort of things, these I'm going to say extravagant things, just for a means to an end, whether to gain new alliances, to I guess you could say backstab this guild or to destroy another guild, whatever the case is. But I personally felt as if it was a ploy for them to gain new alliances. And I'm sure people in here in chat or in the podcast channel will disagree with me in saying that no, there's a strong possibility that the guild may have had drama. But personally, I don't feel like it. It just seemed too. In a sense, it was too sudden because the
Yeah,
guild.
there was no build up
It's
to anything.
Yeah, there would have to be some sort of build up, and there was no time for this to build up. There was no build up time because the guild server mergers happened, relevant merged into Man Up. By the next week, Man Up took Valencia from Gravity. They 1v1 Gravity. while Barcode was 1v1 in FML, and they won. And then Man Up and Barcode fought it out, and then Man Up came up on top, and the guild was striving. So for that to just suddenly happen, it actually would have to take time for certain things to build up. And I feel like the time frame when this happened, and then when everything started playing out, it's just too short. And especially with apparently their players were caught in other guilds, so like Mortalis, Ikimori, Savannah. They, people were talking about it, and especially after the Node Wars this week that just passed, they were saying "Good fight, man up." Good fight, man up. Good fight, man up. And these are people from different guilds that participated in these node wars.
Okay, wait. So what's the point right now?
The thing is, go ahead.
No. I want to know, what point are you trying to make right now?
I personally felt like the man up drama, internal strife, was a ploy. It was fake, non-existent.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what is personally going on, or internally going on in Man Up, with their members. I do know, just because I have contacts or I know people in several of the quote unquote top guilds, that Man Up is, because I used to be in Mortalis, which used to be PK, and I do know that there were Man Up members in that guild this past, or I guess this weekend, helping them with a node. And I was like, why? This person left Man Up and joined Mortalis. What is that about? And I found out that, I mean, not saying, not talking shit on Mortalis. I don't mean it derogatory. But I found out that Man Up, like a few of their members, dropped guild and joined other guilds only for a day to help them with nodes. And the return is supposedly that those guilds will drop nodes on places where Man Up is going to drop, so that other people cannot drop or cannot contest them for those nodes.
I got to think about that.
I tend to believe that is true, considering the people that it's coming from. So yeah.
It is true.
I was DM'd
because
and someone said the players were loaned out to allies to help them secure nodes. It was a joke by Lakari. Ha ha! Rest in peace. I'm sorry.
So you're saying it was more of a strategic play?
Yeah.
I mean,
like, if Man Up can build up these allies.
Like, I think some of them went into like Savannah, and like, I guess they was going nowhere against us, but we still won. I mean,
so while we're in this, it brings back to something that Kaishu was talking about last week, Wednesday, about this elitist top 1% Wall Street type scenario. And I think him and Zeus kind of butt heads there last Wednesday about this. I want to know, Kai, what do you think about this, knowing this information now?
Oh, well, first of all, I had speculated the same thing. I came to the conclusion that this might have just been employed because, from what I've researched and gathered over the past couple months, and I didn't know anything about Man Up, but I've now been told by various people that everybody's kind of in these guilds have all dealt with each other in different games. And this is the kind of stuff that they've all been playing for years now. So, I mean, for me, I'm a fool, so I will believe pretty much anything if it's halfway convincing. So when I watched Lakari's stream, I was convinced that it was. But after watching his most recent stream last night, I was obviously disillusioned at that point because he was basically doing his rundown of his payments. And so it was all a ploy, because he's looking to get his sub, and he is creating content for his viewers, which I think is impressive. I mean, he's actually going out of the way and doing it. But this harkens back to the actual game and the integrity of it. And I think the most honest thing that he's done, Lakari, speaking in general here, is he put on a forum post for Gravity and him, Man Up, to basically go alliances and do a 1v1. And go ahead, what?
Nope, to you.
To you.
So I just think I don't mind that there's games playing here, but it's still, it harkens back to the Wall Street mentality. It harkens back to being elitist. It's, I mean, we're you can joke around, you can try to scheme, you can create content for your viewers, but anyone that plays the game seriously should want the integrity of PvP be intact. And I was watching Orca's stream. He's doing a 24-hour stream today, getting to level 61. And he was talking about the PvP state of the game and the Siege Wars. And basically that in the next probably 3 to 4 weeks, it's going to not be non-existent. And that was because of the alliances and how the game has cultivated over the course of the last 4 or 5 months. And with server merge, it was supposed to be this newfound hope, and everybody could dream again, and things were going to be different. and all it ever did was create even more of a bottleneck.
Exactly.
So now at this rate, obviously Man Up, I think they're seeing the reality that the alliances are not the way to go. I mean, as far as competitive PvP, they're not the way to go. Because if you want to control the board like a Monopoly or a Risk or any other the strategic board games, they have it. They have whatever territory they want. Because apparently, Lakari can shame like Shaq and all of his other guild members, and just as a joke, and he can shame every other alliance. But on Siege Day, which was yesterday, everybody will come to his aid anyway. They're all lapdogs to him. So I guess he is the Mad King, So they're all at his will, and people are upset about it. Orca's like, why does everybody want to follow Man Up? And the reason why is because he's memeing everybody. That video of Iconic, the one that's
hilarious.
I wouldn't call it going viral, but in the BDO community, it went viral essentially. I mean, that's good content. I can't deny that. That's a good meme. And at that rate, you're gonna have celebrity status. But it's still elitist.
That video was pretty harsh though. Like this.
Zooster, you peed your pants a little bit. I heard that.
Okay.
The way this guy terms things sometimes, we could dream again, and and then it was supposed to bring hope. Like, what is this, an Obama campaign? Like hope and change. I mean, gosh. I mean,
Wall Street Boys.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, sorry. Good. Finish.
I get like the integrity of PvP and all of this other jazz. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a game, and I'll admit I don't like it either. I wish more
That's
guilds
not true.
were kind
you said
of.
You liked it. You said that you thought that in war it's unfair sometimes. So
Okay.
own up to it.
So one, you're not going to put words in my mouth because I didn't say I liked it. I said what it is. And yes, it is a game, and war is not fair at times. It does not mean I like that it's not fair. It's just what it is. With this situation, I do not like that there is one guild that can, essentially, I guess, manhandle or manipulate all of the other ones into doing what they want. I don't like that there's one powerhouse that kind of.
But you reinforced that statement last week by saying that the developers made sure that alliances could happen by being able to.
Me saying that it is possible to happen does not mean that I like it. Rape is a thing that can happen to a person. It does not mean I'm a fan of rape. It just means it can happen.
Wait. What kind though? Like, there's different kinds of.
Let's keep it on.
Shut up,
That was
Yeah.
cooled down just a little.
The point is, just because it can be done does not mean I can like it or that I like it. I'm just stating, yeah, it's in the game. if it's here and it's been here this long, yeah, the developers are aware of it. They know what's going on. It's what it is. Yeah, it's a part of the game.
And maybe like was the wrong term, but here's what I was trying to get at. On Wednesday, I said what Lakari has basically established, that alliances in this game break it.
Yeah,
it breaks the game.
I heard it. I don't think it breaks the game. We're all still playing it.
I said it was unfair. I said it was unfair, and then you said life is unfair. Real world is unfair.
Oh my God. No. You were the one that kept going to the real world bullshit. I was staying within the realm of BDO. You were taking this to Wall Street and
trying to
get
you
and Oprah's favorite list and all the other bullshit. Yes, I don't agree that it is fair, but war is not always fair. It's just something that happens. Oh wow, JTO, whatever the fuck your name is. No, I don't. That's a terrible meme. But anyway, I'm not saying that it's fair or that I agree with it. I'm just saying that it's a part of this game, and if he's able to do it, if he is this good at manipulating people and manipulating other guilds, there is a certain, I will say, ounce of respect that I can, nod my hat towards his way. Like, hey, if you got it, you got it. But no, I wish other guilds would, like, try to stand up against the Lakari madhouse and do something different, shake things up a bit. I thought when the server merge came that's what it was going to be. It was going to be a lot of crazy PvP, guild wars happening all the time, people fighting for territories, not everyone just creating these huge alliances, trying to, just permanently stay on top. I thought things were going to get a lot more interesting than they have been. So that is a little bit disappointing, but yeah, the system that is in place, I don't see it as broken. It's unfair, but yeah, it's a part of the game that we're playing.
Now, we're talking about what Man Up is doing, right, with the alliances, and some of us here may feel like it's breaking the game. Some of us are in a difference of opinions of it. Now, we can draw back to something similar that Gravity has done now, which they are currently still doing. The alliances that they had for the Medai siege. Now, and this is an alliance that I'm sure they're going to uphold because the Gravities are known to quote unquote uphold their alliances. And as we can see that last week, they traded off the territory with Iconic, right? And they helped TradeFed gain a tier 3 node with I think it had billions of silver rollover too as well, so that they would have the aid of TradeFed. Now, we don't know what they did for the other guilds, the smaller guilds that were there, like Kill Hunter, Aftershock, and whoever else was there helping them with that alliance. But Gravity was known as a powerhouse guild too at one point. And they had the alliance, they had FML with them. Everywhere Gravity was, you saw FML. So if they were sieging Medai, FML would be there with them. Just like before merger, when they had the stalemate at Medai, where it was Man Up in their castle versus FML and Gravity. We don't have to like alliances. I don't have to like alliances. I know they're going to be part of the game, and players are going to hype that up as much as possible to have an alliance for certain things. I feel like at a certain point that they get old. After a while, alliances get old. Sometimes alliances are fickle, and it's the word that I used a couple weeks ago in a previous discussion about Node and Siege Wars, where alliances do get fickle. I don't like them. It is a part of the game. It is a part of the game. It was implemented into the game, but players are the ones that naturally adapt to that, or they go for it to alliances. And I will continue to hold to that point.
I agree with the fickle word. That's a good word to use. It's already hard enough to establish and to keep one guild and be a guild master of one guild. You're talking about trying to facilitate and coordinate with 3 to 4 2 other guilds, and then trying to keep those alliances throughout each week. It creates an unstable environment. I mean, if you're able to secure them, you're obviously going to be the person on top, and that's fine. This game obviously is is catered towards that. I mean,
How does it create an unstable environment?
okay, do we have to go back to Wednesday's stream and talk about real life experiences again?
No. Well, we'll give us an explanation as to how it creates an unstable environment.
Okay, you have how many? 500 people.
Yeah.
Let's say in all, this is 99. So it's not. It's going to be 496. No, 495 people if you have if a guild.
Okay, so now we're doing math. I'm still trying to figure out how it makes it unstable.
Okay, when you have that many people, okay, chances are there's going to be differences of opinion. There's going to be, well, why didn't I get this payout the way it was? See, Lakari's stream, it may have been fake, but it's rooted in realism. You know, I believe there are people that are upset by not getting what they think they deserve, and by having alliances, your payout is going to be decreased because you have to pay alliances money too. So the money you could have gotten just being a GVG, 1v1, is less because you have alliances that you have to pay. You have to give them retribution. You have to give them nodes potentially. Maybe that's the payout. But you're losing money in one way or the other. And with these differences of opinion, you're going to create controversy. You're going to create dissension in the ranks potentially. Now, supposedly, Lakari's whole broadcast is all just icing for their viewers, for their streamers. So I guess it didn't create it for them. But maybe 2 months from now that will actually happen. Maybe it will dissolve because of this.
Well, Lakari's been doing what Lakari's been doing for a while now, and as far as I can see, his shit still seems pretty fucking stable.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I mean, for a while there, Gravity seemed like they were stable, and in previous interviews, both guilds, FML and Gravity, said they were happy with their guild, where the guild standings currently were, their guild strength. Now, after the initial loss to Man Up at the Valencia siege, the first week into Siege and Node Wars of the New World, they lost and they merged shortly after. So it's like I said, I feel like a lot of guilds, they put on a facade in a sense, and they'll obviously they can't always give you concrete information because at the end of the day they're guild leaders and they have to keep their information airtight for the most part because of the potential spies and information getting leaked, which we see all the time. Now, Aki, I think I showed you something earlier. If you can pull up on stream for me, Meta issued an open challenge for Valencia for Saturday, this week Saturday. Here, let me go ahead and
pull that up for me, please.
Hey, I'm sorry. I just want to respond to by Septimus Prime. I agree with you there. But I think that that's the quote unquote lesser guilds screwing themselves over. When they do decide that they're going to merc for these larger guilds, and the people within their guilds that are actually strong enough to join these top guilds see that they're not getting the payouts they could be getting, then yeah, I can see that being a problem. But okay, sorry guys.
So Lakari issued, we'll issue a challenge. Let's say issued a challenge to mainly Gravity. Gravity is the next strongest guild to man up. I would say that. I will still hold to that. Besides them losing some members, Gravity has always found a way to remain on top. And I'm sure they will do so. Whether they're laying low in the shadows right now, planning their assault, or whatever the case is, whatever they're doing, or trying to rebuild their core, or guild, I should say, they still have something in the woodworks. Now, Lucari went ahead and issued an open challenge because of the fact that there's so many alliances going around, and they want to try, in a sense, to bring back PvP to the server. So, Gravity was called out. Now, will Gravity take this challenge, or will they deny the challenge, or not even acknowledge it and wait till bide their time, in a sense, till they have an opportunity to an attack? Will they bring on an alliance on Man Up?
You want my opinion?
Sure, go ahead.
Go ahead, Harambe.
Well, like, there's too many guilds for a 1v1 especially for a siege territory to do a 1v1. So somebody's gonna drop. Then at the 1 second, they will team up just to take out the bigger prize, and then they'll go 1v1. So like, moving money in a siege war is, I mean, it's not really showing anything because people could actually just like post it on, drop on the territory. So I'm like,
True. And I know that people are going to complain about, though it may not be fair 1v1, whatever the case is. And I think Greggy posted in here too. If you can find Greggy's post, he said, although I have no say in this, how about we start with absolutely no closing the gate as well, which seems to be a big problem. Although he stated that he has no say in it because it's ultimately up to the leadership of Gravity to decide if they want to take this open challenge. Now, Lucario stated that he'll leave the gates open. Whether he'll hold to that agreement is entirely up to him. We don't know if he will or will not, but I'm sure if they want the word people use, the honorable 1v1, they'll open the gates. If they want PvP, they're getting PvP brought to them. So if they want to keep that PvP, I'm sure more than likely Man Up is going to open the gates.
Well,
Now, go ahead.
I respect Lucari's decision to do this. I really do, and I think it's a fair point. And any, if you look at the revolutionary days when military men were lining up for war, they all had rules. They all had rules of war, and it's pretty barbaric to today's standard. They would all line up and shoot each other, and the people in the front lines would potentially die. Right. So most wars do have rules, and this is what's trying to be established. But I think it's a bitch move by Lucari. Lucari is supposed to be the fucking mad king of BDO. And now he's trying to reestablish some rules and trying to do a little maneuver on Gravity. I think Gravity should shove it up his ass and say, fuck you, and let's fucking do this the way like you said, Gravity has been able to stay relevant this whole time. And I think Lucari's a little scared of Gravity. Gravity's kind of been staying out of the loop for the past week. And he mentioned Wizard and Witch Awakening, and that's what Gravity has been kind of waiting on. And now that they've gotten it, which I appreciate, again, the shout out that Lucari has given to Gravity. I appreciate all that. But I think, and I don't like Gravity. I don't. I hate him. I hate him for the very basic core of what they're all about, at least during the digging fiasco. I don't know if they've changed their ways since then.
Oh God!
But
everybody
obviously,
played at least once. Like, come on.
Well, hold on here, Kaishi. I'm gonna have to interject here for a second because
Sure.
when you said, Tom, you reinstated something I said earlier, but you also forgot to mention the part where I added on to it that because of the fact they were able to pull all the guilds to aid them, alliances, Gravity has always been able to pull other guilds to help them or aid them in their endeavors, just like Man Up, the same way. So regardless of that fact, even if Gravity says, "Screw you guys, we're gonna play this up. We're gonna do this how it's supposed to be done," and they end up bringing guilds on there, whatever the case is, Man Up is gonna have their alliance drop on there. Now, if that's gonna be the case where Gravity at that point wants the 1v1, then I see no problem with Man Up and Gravity being able to take out every other guild there. That added onto it too. Now, I personally think you brought up the whole early warfare days where people had the honorable 1v1s versus armies, where they would stand up in line and shoot each other and then once the first rank dies, the next rank moves up, and so forth. Now, I wouldn't really want to compare it to this situation. This is basically just a call out. This is a challenge. There's nothing intricate about it. It's a straight up 1v1 call out challenge. And the Man Up is willing to open the gates if need be so they can get the honorable 1v1.
Well, they're trying to ruin Gravity's reputation, which I don't disagree with. I think Gravity should be gone. But Lucari, I think it's beneath him as far as his reputation to basically do this. Like, it's, to me, it's, I don't know. To me, I lose a bit of respect for Lucari for this.
In what sense? Because
I don't even know who you like or who you don't like. I mean,
Yeah,
one day is
you're-
get rid of Man Up, the
you're
next
kinda
day is get rid
confusing
of
me.
Gravity. Now it's I think Gravity should be gone, and Lucari loses a little bit of respect. I didn't think you had any for him.
Yeah, because the way how you were describing Kai, it seems like you had absolutely no respect for the guy whatsoever, or cared for his existence. So what is the sudden change?
You hate him, then you
No,
want to be
no,
on the dick. Next one,
I
you know.
never. Well, I think it was made clear that somebody said I hated him. I don't hate Lakari. I actually think he's a really good streamer. I actually think that his streams are better than his actually in-game persona gives him out to be. And I think his streams take away from his guilt. To be honest, he's a selfish, conceited,
Whoa,
greedy,
whoa,
Golden.
Casey, whoa.
Yes, this is all true. This is his persona,
And this
right?
is your
This is what he is
opinion.
in
I'm
game.
just gonna say
He's
this is
established
Cash's
himself
opinion.
as this. This is my. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me emphasize. This is my opinion.
Can't even spell his name.
KIASHE's opinion. I'm sorry. I'm a little tired, so I have to look at it to make sure I'm spelling it right. But this is my opinion. Of course, it's my opinion. But my opinion, I think, has some merit in
No.
his.
Oh,
based
whoa,
attack.
that's
All
opinions matter. Okay.
But my main question is, what is the problem with Lakari calling out Gravity for a 1v1 or issuing a 1v1 challenge? What is the problem with that?
There's nothing
mean,
on that basic level. There's nothing.
Like
Nothing
at the
wrong
end
with
of the day, they already know they can win a 1v1 with Gravity. So why just do it with just Gravity? Why not just say everyone? You know? Because
I think it's a bit too early to pick sides, Harambe.
no, I don't give a fuck about neither. You know, spaghetti all the way. But you know, it's the point is that
What's spaghetti?
putting 1v1, it's like they already did it so many times
Mom,
before
spaghetti.
the merge and before before the merge and then after the merge. I mean, they 1v1 a lot, so it's really not a really big thing. Why not have the whole server on one region though? How about that?
I think that would be virtually impossible to have the entire server on region.
Wow, way to kill it.
And I think you're capped out on how many people you can drop on one territory too. So I think that's going to be virtually impossible to do so. Now, I think as a person that likes to watch Snowed and Siege Wars, I would be ecstatic for the idea of Gravity and Man Up having another 1v1, especially since
But
Gravity.
why couldn't that have been the original plan from the get-go?
What, to have a 1v1?
Yeah, why was Alliances ever brought into the game of BDO in the first place?
That's like saying it for 90% of the games out there.
But I mean, a lot of the games is not out there though.
Well, it gives the players freedom on what they want to do, whether they want to have alliances or not. It's the mechanics that was implemented in the game, and players act upon it. That's just it. But now you have a guild here. The main thing is the essential point is Man Up is calling out Gravity for 1v1. According to, and I also have another shot here. Hold on one second. I want Aki to pull this up on stream. So let me gather this information real quick. I want the viewers to see exactly what sometimes we see here.
I mean, but like, didn't it already establish that after the merge they already did their 1v1s?
Yes, they did, and apparently there was a lot of, I guess, in a sense, animosity, salt towards the fact that, quote unquote, apparently Man Up 2v1 them for the territory. And as a person that watched this siege war happen from both sides, from Zithian's side and from Moreland's side, Barcode was 1v1 in FML, and Man Up was 1v1 in Gravity. Now, at certain times when Man Up pulled out of Gravity's base because they were respawning and so forth, or if, let's say, Gravity killed a large number of them, and Man Up was regrouping their forces, Gravity would then send aid to FML. So they would send a small force to Barcode's base to try and pull Barcode back off FML, because FML did not have a huge turnout for that war, and plus FML was already low on numbers in their guild as it is. So they didn't have a large scale turnout like they normally would. So in a sense, how is that Man Up 2v1 in Gravity? Wouldn't it be Gravity and FML 2v1 in Barcode to try and stop Barcode from taking FML's base at that point?
Yeah, they thought Barco was the weaker of the two opponents, so they were trying to play that game, obviously.
But
I mean,
it didn't work out.
Gravity
It
is
didn't work out
shady.
in their
I get
favor,
it.
though.
I
But
didn't because Gravity at the core is stupid.
But see, now you're jumping on Gravity. See,
I already said this before. I have issues with Gravity, but
You have issues
why
with
is
everyone.
Lucari calling
Yeah.
out Gravity anyway? That's like the least. That's like the least skilled. You know what I do think should
You have
happen.
a
Okay,
hit
he's
on
trying
your
to
head.
The
be.
least.
No, he's
what
trying
do
to
you
be
mean the
this
least
noble
guild?
guy.
Gravity is still a viable guild.
talk.
Wait.
Let me
One
talk.
second. He's trying to be this noble guy trying to do 1v1. Why don't he be the ultimate Mad King and actually start rising up these smaller middle guilds to be stronger? You know, if he really wants competition, he can create that. He can be a culture of change. Okay, if he really wants the competitive nature to go against the top tier people, which he hasn't, he's gone against some freaking diggers, some role playing Orwin iconic guilds. He's gone against a barcode who had it like I don't know, like I can't even get a comparison to how easy it was over in Uno for barcode for the many months he's had it. Why doesn't he build up other guilds that actually have players in their guilds that haven't competed yet and build
Vision
those
is
up
strong.
and compete?
I mean, gone a long
Vision's
way, but they,
strong.
you know,
You talk about your guild spaghetti. I mean, these other people
Vision's
have.
fine. Spaghetti doesn't even do like siege wars because there's too much drama in that bullshit.
okay, now
Really,
my question, Kai, what other guilds out there can contest Man Up besides from potentially Gravity? What other guilds out there can contest them besides if they would have to ally up against in a
Why
one v
is
one
everybody being
situation?
so shallow and thinking that nobody else can contest
That
anybody?
doesn't.
Well,
What
it's the
was
way
Man
that
Up? What was Man Up before the merge? What was Man Up? Man Up they all started out small. Everybody started out small. Man Up was a little baby in the
Man Up was
beginning.
Wait,
huge.
what?
Like
You're
everybody
saying that
else.
before the merge, Man Up was a little baby.
No,
before
I'm
the
saying
merge-
in the beginning. I'm saying in the beginning
so
of
was
BDO,
everyone
everybody
else.
started out small.
Exactly.
So we're all
But-
discounting everybody else's guilds when we shouldn't be. If Lucari, okay, saying 1v1 Gravity, the only reason he wants to do that is to shame them, which I think they deserve it. But he shouldn't be focusing on that. He's the fucking Mad King. He's ranked SS plus. Okay, he's fucking Hitler in
Does he
BDO
call
right now.
himself that, or are you giving him this
He
title?
calls himself the Mad King. He does call himself the Mad King.
yes, he
I-
does
okay, that's
refer
the
to
only thing he
himself as
does
the Mad
call.
King.
Everything
Now-
else is my own personal opinion that I'm calling it. Everything else.
Wait, so you say he's Hitler in a way?
No, I'm saying that he reigns supreme. I'm saying that he is the man. Okay.
You
He
sound like a
controls
fucking
everything, and
fanboy.
he
Like what?
chooses- He chooses. I'm a fanboy in
his
the sense that
opinion,
I
it's his
think he creates
opinion.
good content for his viewers. I do think that.
Now you, I mean, you're saying a lot of things here, and I'm not.
I know.
I'm not.
so
I'm not
bear
trying to
with me. I'm a
disrespect your.
complex guy.
And I'm not trying to bash you anyway, but
Bash me.
I feel you're saying what I want to know what other guilds out there besides from potentially Gravity, or maybe let's say 1v1 situation. What other guilds out there that can actually put up a fight against Man Up besides from Gravity? Tell me a
to
name
be
of a guild
honest
out
with you,
there.
Vision and Man Up, never, I haven't seen them 1v1.
Personally, whether or not Vision has strong members and they're on the rise, still, I still feel like Vision is not at that point where they're ready to challenge Man Up yet. I just honestly, but look at Gravity. Gravity fell to Man Up, and besides from the fact that Man Up did a merger before Gravity did a merger, and they brought in a set of really strong players into the guild. Man Up already had a set of strong players to begin with, and these players are continuously getting more and more gear. Granted, everybody else is getting more and more gear, but Gravity was the only guild potentially that had the whims to stand up to Man Up. Iconic hyped themselves up to be this absolutely top tier guild, but yet, in a sense, and excuse me for using the word, but they are now Gravity's lapdog.
I mean, to be honest,
Yes, and that's the problem. All these other, you're right about that. Because literally these other guilds are just playing lapdogs to Man Up and Gravity essentially, and they're not actually identifying themselves as a solo threat, as a guild. You know, these people need to branch off and stop taking the small change. Even though I do think the alliances in this game do make out better than any of the top guilds, even Man
I
Up
mean,
and Gravity in the long run.
in my standpoint, man, if Man Up never gotten those two guilds to join into them, I mean, I don't think they would have gotten that far. My opinion, you know.
No,
I
I can see
agree.
that as a potential outcome. Yeah, I can definitely see it as a potential outcome. But then again, we don't know what would have happened. We can all speculate. You know, we can say that FML, you know, well, before they became FML, when they were PRX and XRP and DPRX, when they were just a massive little bunch of Zerglings, when they always dropped with multiple the same set of guilds, people can say they were a strong force, but at the end of the day, how were they as a solo a solo entity? You know, as it let's say PRX were the 1v1 another guild, would they have last? Or would they just have brought numbers just to overshadow somebody in this current state of the game?
Right,
So
and I think that's what should be established. I think we should be able to see that again. I want to see that identity. I want to see these guilds become 1v1 guilds again. I want, because right now you can't blame them. You know, they know they can't take it. They know they can't take these territories. So the next best thing is to get an alliance to get something from it.
now,
So go ahead.
would you rather see? Okay, based on the way the state of the game has progressed, if we still only have 4 territories right now, as it currently is in the game. Would you be happier seeing several guilds consistently fighting every week and nobody claiming a territory? Every week the territories have been liberated because nobody can claim it because all these guilds are
I
all
would
these
love
guilds.
that. I would love
Would
that.
it be better for? Would you be happier seeing this? Would you feel like there's PvP in the game if this was the case, or are you happy with it
Orca
as
on
it
his
is now?
stream saying today he was upset. He was whining about the change that if you own a castle, you can't do any more GVGs and sit on a frigging other node and collect it. Like you're entitled. I hate those kind of people. You know what? I want wars where I want this game. This game should have been from the get-go where there hasn't been a castle taken yet. It should have been knocking heads. Like, how in the hell am I going to kick your ass? How in the hell am I going to get that castle? That castle should have been so hard to get that you'd quit your job, that you'd get a divorce,
What the
that you'd
what
disown
the
your kids.
hell?
Huh?
Cash, what the
I
fuck?
don't know
maybe
about
not, maybe
that,
not that
Cashy.
far, but you know, people do go out and dig in to get an upper hand. So there are people that take this game serious, and there's people in those guilds that do.
Get a
Well,
divorce? Like,
Well, we know that people we know that there's people that take this game seriously. I mean, even in the beginning of the game, there's this guild that had this strict structure to them. This strict structure, no shit talking. You have to be in Discord or TeamSpeak. You have to show up a certain amount of siege where you have to maintain this level, this APDP, to constantly remain in the guild. And if you didn't, then you were kicked from the guild. And then once you got your DP and AP up to status on your level, then you were able to rejoin the guild if they had room. So, I mean, people have been doing this since the start of the game. There's a lot of guilds that are trying to be, in a sense, professional. I know PRX and Gatekeeper back at the time when the Gatekeeper arc was released, that they had a lot of disrespect towards Lucari, and they felt like Lucari had no respect. And this was said by the leaders of PRX at the time when they were having a discussion that Lucari had no respect for anybody and so forth, and he was arrogant, ignorant, arrogant, and a plethora of other words that was used to describe him. And for those of you that have not seen the videos, you can always check them out on YouTube at not Lucari's link in YouTube. So these things were said by these guilds that were so called quote unquote elitist guilds back then. And but at the same time, these guilds that described him in such a way ended up coming to his aid. At the same time, they needed his help. They were allied with him at some point during this game.
Yeah, because they wanted nothing more than to establish something and sit on it, like a chicken sits on an egg. Okay, that's all they wanted. You know, just so they could collect their. It's the same thing as Gravity going to dig in the gold in the desert. They wanted the handout. They wanted the freebie. They want to collect money, look cool. Look what I got. But did you earn it? Did you earn it? Now, see, Lucari's going on the forums and he's trying to say he's going to earn it again. Because I think now they're like saying, well, now, because he doesn't want the appearance of being given anything. Lucari does not want that. His whole image is based on coming from nothing into something. He doesn't want to be looked at now as like, oh my God, look at Lucari just taking over everything. It's too easy. No, he wants to do some publicity stunts to make it look like it's going to be a little harder. Okay. But I mean, it's just, it is. It's that mentality. It's fine to have the mentality. It is. But if you play a game, and I know most people here play this game for a couple hours a day at least, and that's a long time. to take out of your day to play a game. And if you're doing that, you take the game serious. You care about the game. But people shit on this game. They just want to sit on it and they want to collect. And they don't want to actually work for it. And that to me, my personal opinion.
Wait. What do you mean they want to sit on collected? Like,
they want to take a castle, they want to take a node, they want to collect $60 billion a week. So they can just sit there and get all nice and fat and,
what do you mean?
and
Like,
pen up their crescents
the merge.
and pen up their ogres and just say, oh, look how good and
look,
fat and juicy I am. Give me your wives, give me your children.
Right there, okay. Which is the merge. Everybody's been trying to go for territories, so no one really can't sit on their ass and like not do nothing, because then eventually the territory is going to be taken over. Oh shit! Still got to defend the shit,
And in every game, whether it's taking castles forward, so whatever it is, or certain regions, you're going to have the strong guilds that are in a sense, so let's say self-sustained, because they don't need anybody else to help them. They have the manpower, they have the foot soldiers, they have everything that they essentially need. But at some point, they're going to realize that in order to maintain where their status quo is at, they're going to need some sort of aid, whether it's from a smaller guilds or semi-strong guilds, and them doing so and recruiting their alliance is nothing new.
1 second, can we get a ban on Hikase?
I'm banning them.
Thank you.
And so forth. They're going to need to pull aid from somewhere else, just like, and it's the same thing Gravity has done, and it's the way they maintain their status quo as one of the top guilds. I mean, it's no different. It really is no different. So I don't see where people go off and they're bashing Man Up, or they're bashing Gravity, or they're bashing other guilds. Because look at it. Okay, let's talk about an alliance. The critical Black Rose Audacity Fortune alliance.
There you go.
Right?
There you go.
Okay, that's a guild that they had their alliance. They realized that, look, we'll ally up for the greater good. There's this guild that potentially may or may not take us all out, because at the end of the day, we may be big as an alliance, as an alliance, but as a guild itself, we have small forces in a sense, except for Fortune. I'm guessing they're like a 97 man guild, and they can pull some decent numbers. But then again, at the same time, since merger, I have not really heard much about Fortune, so I don't know if they're a PvE guild or life skill guild or what the whole deal is. They just kind of ride underneath the radar a lot of the times. But the only time you really see them is when they're on Saturdays, when they trade over the territory with each other,
which is lame.
Lame.
Too. For they made in the sense, I would say a wise decision for themselves.
Hey guys, you want to trade territories with me? Oh my god, you want to trade? Oh, let's trade. Hey, you get this week. I'm gonna get this week, okay? Look, guys, let's just trade. Oh yeah, that's so smart. That's a good idea.
If you were a guild leader,
you're gonna get a hit list on your ass.
Put yourself in their position. What would you do as a guild master?
I would take a beating. If I could not win, I'd take a beating. And my guildies would either leave or they would step the fuck up and we'd get better because of it. People today, because people, I know you guys don't like my IRL examples, but people get trophies, like, oh, good job, Timmy. You came in 6th. Here's a trophy. You did a good job. That doesn't teach a kid anything. I don't think. My personal opinion. But
oh my god.
Well, Cashie's not in the guild, so I don't think Cashie's gonna be joining the guild for a long while.
I'm not in the guild. I'm in my own guild. But that's besides the point. I'm actually.
So
really
how's
good
your
for
guild doing, Kashi?
My guild is perfect.
Oh.
Is it ready to go up against Mana?
When's the next
Me and my 10 personalities work together very well. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
So,
I'm so glad.
I know we've been kind of overshadowing everybody. But my question is, though, the main question here is, do you feel as if the players in Man Up that are dropping guild to join other guilds to merc for them or to aid them so they can gain potential allies or PvP, whatever the case is, personally, I don't think it's wrong of them to do so, nor do I give a damn. I think it's good for them because you know what? You've been holding a territory for a month. Obviously, players are going to be bored. They're going to want PvP. The players that want to PvP and are just there for the paycheck, they're going to want PvP. And they're going to start complaining because there's no PvP. And some of them may or may not stop playing, or some of them might wise up and do the smart thing and go join a different guild for the time being and join back. as long as their guild leader has no problem with it, which I don't see him having a problem with it.
Dukashi, you should really make a guild.
I did make a guild. I've already said this, but this is not about me. We're talking about Siege and Guild Wars.
I mean, on the fact that you said that, Pan, though, like some of the people that that came from Mad Up on the Node Wars, that Spaghetti and Savannah had, or this other random guild, but there was like a Zerg guild, but they had their own gear. But some of them went into Savannah, and I mean, I think the core of Man Up is what brings that strive and separating all of them up to help other people out and be a downfall too.
True. So what is it? The rest of you guys have been really quiet. Yeah. And I want to know what you guys think.
I'm just watching.
Yeah, I've stated enough of my opinions. Go ahead.
Me? Well,
Zeus, I know you. Oh, go ahead, Kai. Aki.
I've been simply, honestly, I've been a little confused. This is all over the place. See, I come back every once in a while. I just like host a stream, and sometimes I put my input on some topics. But with this, it's really, really confusing because I come back and we're talking about like Stanford, and then I leave and I come back again. We're talking about like how I don't know. He was comparing the trophy. I don't know. It's. Well, I just come back. I have a good laugh.
Stanford to Wall Street.
Wall Street boy.
Well, if the viewers have any questions, please post them in the comment section. We'll try to get to them and answer them.
Goat. What's goat?
So Zeus, I know you've been here. I know you've been kind of quiet here, and I want to know what you think about this open 1v1 challenge that Lucari's issued to Gravity.
I don't see a problem with it. If it's going to be a legit 1v1, equal numbers, I don't see a problem with it. I think that would be cool to see, of the two guilds, which one, standing on their own, could actually best the other. Right now, a lot of the sieges and the node wars, it is about who can bring more numbers. I feel like that's what it's coming down to. Who can Zerg who best? Does that always take skill? Not really. If you can bring enough numbers with enough geared people that have the right AP, the right DP, and you outnumber the other, most times you're bound to you're kind of more poised to win that fight. So I don't know. I would like to see 1v1 between them both. Duke it out and see what's what exactly versus, oh, we got zerged, or they had more people, or their alliance did this, and just completely erase the excuses. You have no excuse now. It's on equal terms, equal battleground. Who's better? I wouldn't mind that.
I would definitely like to see that. And I could use a comparison. Let's use a different guild comparison. Let me talk about Vision. We all know Vision, that Sinisteel is the one that's in charge of Vision, and he was I think it was the GM after the original GM of Gravity quit or left the game, whatever the case was. So he took over, right? And he was running Gravity. And I guess at some point, I don't know exactly what happened. I'm guessing he probably just got tired of leading. Whatever the case is, he wanted to scale down, and he left. And some of his members left and followed behind him. Now he started up Vision, and Vision for a long time, I guess they were a small guild, a lot of memers in that guild, and so forth. And they've started recruiting more and more members. Now they've currently held Surrender Territory for a few weeks now, or a couple weeks actually. They've held that territory. Now, if circumstances were reversed, where it was, let's say, Man Up in Gravity's position, and Sinisteel issued an open challenge out there on the forums, do you think there would be so much up and up and on about it as it is now? Do you think people would be bashing the post or talking shit in regards to it, or saying dodging PvP? What do you think would have transpired in that situation?
Everybody's gonna talk shit. It's the internet. Like no one's gonna say it in front of your face, but they'll say it behind the screen because that's how people are.
Right.
But like everybody's gonna shit talk on the fucking forums and shit.
But do you think there would be as much shit talk as there is now?
Not really. Yeah. I mean, Like it depends.
I know Vision for the most part is, they have some really good players, really good PvPers, really geared guys. But I don't think that they have been as heavily on the scene, so to speak, as Man Up has been. So it probably would not be as big of a backlash um, as it is with Man Up making this move, just because Lucari is very verbose and loud and out there, and so he kind of puts himself in a position to be publicly mocked or ridiculed, I guess. And of course, when you are on top, it's just that natural thing. Everyone loves to hate the person at the top, especially when they're annoying about it. Um, so no, I don't think it would be as much of a ruckus if the roles were reversed and this was Vision making this call.
Understand. And how would you guys feel about, let's say, if for instance, Gravity 1v1 Vision or Man Up versus Vision? I personally would like to see that fight because I know Vision, since the merger, they've been recruiting some really geared players. I know some of the ones from Gravity that apparently left because of the PvP issue or whatever the case was. They recently assimilated themselves into Vision. And these guys were originally from Waifu Hunter or whatever the guilds they were in, and they went to Vision. And thus giving Vision that much of a stronger core, and they already semi had. And I know they did pick up the aid of Cho Nation recently in the last couple weeks here to help them hold their territory. I'm guessing they have some sort of mutual agreement with Cho Nation or an alliance with them for their territory continuous hold.
Isn't True Nation though? Gravity's little brother, or not Gravity? Man Up little brother.
No, Chonation will merc for whoever. Honestly, I don't think that they necessarily have. I know for a good little while, yes, they were Man Up's kind of go to. I don't think that that is the case anymore. But they're pretty much a merc guild.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen their siege wars. It's pretty lit. They're crazy though. There's some crazy people in True Nation.
Yeah, no, they've got some really good players and geared players as well. I know people personally that are in that guild as well,
Seen
and
a
yeah, they're
lot
pretty
of
good.
berserkers that's in that guild that just went off ham into a enemy. I'm like, damn. But why hasn't been done like a whole berserker guild though? I think that would be sustainable.
There is in KR actually. I don't know if you've seen any YouTube videos for it, but there is an all Zerker guild in KR, and it's pretty freaking crazy.
Yeah,
Really?
but they also have a YouTube intro video of their. It's like a anime bit. It's on YouTube. You can find it. I remember seeing it several months back about the all Berserker Guild.
If you
It
can
was
link
actually a pretty
it,
cool video.
that'd be nice. Or you could put it on the stream because
I don't feel like going
Cool,
searching.
cool is a relative term because I think developers.
Oh,
I'm talking about.
JP. Somebody corrected us. Also, he said so it says JP.
Oh, okay, my bad, my bad.
Oh, Japan. The developers have a lot of fault in this. That I think we talk about Lucari, we talk about all these people that play the game, but the developers have created a culture currently that has allowed all this to happen. And I'm not going to sit here. We're not. This is not the stream to do it or the podcast to do it. But
what culture?
The what?
I said what culture?
Just the fact that their alliances can be created through using the final battle method in guilds, so they can basically whatever they are using for payouts, they can use it that way. The imbalances of the like the meta, so like warriors, berserkers, and sorks being the top level siege players or siege classes in the game right now. I mean, and then we just in the beginning of of this podcast, we looked at the patch notes for Korea, and there is no nerfs. There's buffs, so they're making these classes even stronger, and that's okay. But it's what's the end goal?
What?
Yes, please.
No,
Call me
you
out.
just-
Call me out.
You just went from like A to Z. I don't even know what we're talking about right now. You started about how the developers have responsibility in the culture that the game is creating, and now you're talking about characters getting buffed. What?
I feel like I read down
Whoops.
that Alice in Wonderland.
Okay, do I need to slow down because maybe I'm
You
too
need to
fast.
slow all the way down and
Okay,
and stay
so
on
the
track.
culture is one. The culture is one. The culture is the alliances. That's the culture in the game. The ability to have multiple guilds decking on one guild because of an alliance, essentially. And the reason that alliances exist is because you're able to pay out guild funds to other guilds using the final battle tool. I don't know what it's called, whatever it's called. Using that tool to pay them out. So that's the culture. Now that's the culture in the game is to have alliances and to control territory. That's the culture. And then I transition from the culture to talk about class imbalances because it's not just one thing in this game that the developers have done to create the level of it's not, some people think it's fine, and that's like people that want certain things to happen in the game think it's fine. They want to be able to I hate to bring back Orca, but Orca Stream, he was talking about a lot of things today. He wants to be able to melt people one shot. I'm the kind of person that doesn't feel like that is actually a good mechanic in the game to be able to one shot somebody. Do we want BDO to be the Call of Duty of MMOs?
I'm gonna pause you there. Okay,
Go.
to one
Yes.
shot, to one shot, one person or any person, it requires a lot of grinding and a lot of getting them the item and stuff like that. So you have to really work for it. So the people who go one shot work their ass off to get those items and shit. It's just saying that.
Like in our version of the game, anybody that has over 180 AP has respect from me because you cannot buy fell stacks in this game and not in our version anyway. So you have to actually, digging aside, you have to actually enchant that shit to get to those levels of AP, or you just grind significant amounts of money and you just outrightly buy it. But I mean,
Wait, why is somebody going crazy about 180 AP? Who said 180 AP?
I said it for anybody that has 180 AP or more than that.
Well, you should say that
I
before
have
Nover. You should say that before Nover.
Well, yeah, of course, yeah. Now Nova will make that a lot easier, but you know what I mean. Um, I have respect for people that have more than that because it says that they're actually going through the process of enhancing gear, they're using the fell stacking system, etc. So I don't. And as far as the culture of the game, I agree with Panda and in what he says with as far as the players make. The developers create the game. They put certain mechanics into the game to set it up, and then they give it to us. What we find to do with the game after that point, within the means that they have allowed, is what we ourselves create. I don't think the developers have pushed any agenda or they've, decided, okay, this is what this game is going to be about. Alliances in this game is something that can be done. I don't think that there's anything wrong with alliances happening. Does it create an unfair advantage to certain players or certain guilds if they can't find people to ally with? Yes, it does. Do I always agree with that? No, I don't. Is that the way war works sometimes? Yes. So it is what it is. I mean, you can sit here and complain about that all day, but it's not going to change the fact that when you get into the higher tier levels of PvP, you're going to get tired of stalemating all the time. And when you have two strong guilds that are equally geared, equally matched, equally skilled, a lot of times that's what's going to happen. It's going to be a stalemate. And so to prevent these stalemates, they're going to bring an ally to make sure, okay, this isn't going to be a stalemate. We're going to win this territory, and we will work whatever we need to work out between ourselves and this alliance member later on. I just think that's good strategy.
Yes, and that's the mechanics that the developers you're right when you said the developers didn't intend anything. They have the mechanics in the game, and then the players created the environment,
Right.
and the culture. But the culture is only able to be fulfilled based off what the developers gave us. And to go back to the point, yes, I totally agree with you. I don't think they have, any intention for it to be one way or the other. And I'm not saying that I'm probably in the minority in this particular, but I think it's a track record that developers have not listened to the player base in general.
All right, 1 second. Let me just address some of
I
these
got
idiots
a
really quickly.
question.
When I say
They're not-
180 AP, I'm not saying that as if it's the end all be all. I'm just using that as a
They're trying
preliminary
to trick you.
threshold to state that that's pretty damn good.
That's some big words you got there.
Without
I went to
offhand,
college.
I think personally, I think anybody that's able to amount to 180 plus AP without offhand, you automatically have respect for that.
Yeah, I
like
agree.
And that's what a lot of guilds are. That's what a lot of these guilds want, anyways. So if you want to do the higher tier PvP or participate in territory wars, majority of guilds, you're going to need that like 180 plus AP without offhand. That's what they're going to require.
what I want to see though for the developers to do. I mean, yeah, we have NA, then we have Korean server, but I want to see which server is the best in PvP though. Like the top 10 guilds versus the top 10 guilds in KR. See it go down. And just see who the fuck who's the real who's the best server. In PvP wise.
And personally, honestly, I would, and I'm going to draw back to Gravity Man Up, and I'm going to include Vision into this because I hear apparently Gravity might be making an attempt to go after Serendia because apparently people in Vision have been talking shit to Gravity. Now, I don't know if this is factual, information or what. It's just something that I've been hearing. And if that was the case, I would definitely like to see Gravity versus Vision. It would be an interesting fight, just as much as I would like to see Vision versus, Gravity, or even the LOTD. If somebody go out there, and I know we don't naturally talk about LTD, but I know last week they was it the week before Christmas they fought against Barcode and probably I guess other guilds. I wasn't really here for it. I just heard about it that they did fight against Barcode. I'm guessing Barcode did not have a turnout because it was a holiday, but they still went out for the fight anyways. And I know they've been holding their territory for the same amount of weeks as all these other guilds that's been holding their territories. I would definitely like to see a challenge being issued to these guilds that have been holding their territory for this extended time period. Even the critical fortune alliance, I would like to see somebody contest them at some point. But at the way this current game is, the state of the game, it's very unlikely that you're going to see a lot of these things happen because everybody's allying up at this point. And I don't know if
that sounds like
LOTDs.
you don't like it either. That sounds like
Well,
on a personal level.
Personally, I've already stated this in prior streams that I don't like the whole idea of alliancing, but you know what? It's there as it's there. People are going to make a thing out of it, and as I said, players make a thing out of it, and it's always been for every game I've played it, or any game that's out there that have these sort of functions in the game. It's going to be a part of it. So whether I like it or not, I deal with it. I bite my tongue, I grit my teeth, and I put on my big boy pants, and I deal with it. I'm not gonna bitch and complain about it, especially when I know it's something that's ultimately going to happen. But if there's lack of PvP, if this starts to become a lack of PvP, or there's no open world PvP, then I try to find other ways to find PvP in the game. And if that becomes invalid at that point, then I move on.
You can always farm at Saucons and kill people there. That's pretty fun. I mean, for me, it is.
What's wrong with you, Harambe?
I agree with you, Harambe. That used to be the thing, and anybody that can't find value in that, I think needs to recheck themselves in this game.
I did my 200% where Karan was at, and let's just say I got over like 500k negative karma, and I just ran. So I'm just I ran for my life. I beat and I ran.
Fucking dumbass.
But who in this podcast? I mean, personally, I don't want to melt somebody one shot. Who thinks that that's a good end game goal to have? I know it's in the game right now. Who thinks that's a good idea to be able to one shot somebody? I just want personal opinions. Anybody in this?
I see the capability of the ability to one shot somebody as an achievement for your hard work. Because I
Yeah.
wouldn't be putting
No.
hours on end in the game and not expect to destroy somebody in one button.
Okay, let's get some clarification on this one shot because I've been hearing a lot of people saying one shot. Now we're gonna have to really clarify this because you use the word as one shot. Do you mean at least just walking up to one person and using one skill and killing them?
Oh no,
because
no,
you have to
one shot in this game
clear,
means one combo.
Yeah, people. That's the thing, and people need to get the correct term of this word. One shot is basically using a one skill to kill somebody. That is a one shot. Like a Sork in Aeon that can walk up to you and goddamn what's it called? What's the skill? Something shard, glacial shard you. That's a one shot. You know, a Templar walking up to you, hitting you with break power and hitting you for 6.7k or 7.2k when you only have literally 6200 health. That's a one shot.
200 AP.
One combo. That one combo is basically either a grab and one skill. Let's say a nature regen, any regen or whatever, or breezy, whatever the hell it is, and killing you. That's a one combo.
Yeah, 200 AP wizard. Jeffy just said this 200 AP wizard with 100% will one shot, or a warrior as well.
That's a one shot. That's a one shot on warrior. You're right on that.
That is not a combo.
But then again, I'm over 200 AP, and sometimes for some reason my fucking solar flare does not one shot people out of the time, especially if people are buffed up with damage reduction and DP, these damage reduction pots and so forth.
Yeah, because they don't want to be one shotted. Do you like when you're one shotted?
So I do take that back too as well, in to a certain degree with the one shot.
Yeah.
But how many classes have a one shot mechanic though?
I mean, if you count the 200%, I mean,
Sorg,
Rangers did until they nerfed them, and then
the shotgun.
The shotgun was Warriors borderline.
Shotgun is still
Warriors are borderline.
overpowerful. Like you can just spray all day and not care for the world. But shotgun.
What other classes? Black Hole can one shot you.
The 200% on Berserker, if you have enough AP, you can one shot.
Well, I mean, like, I don't like the whole if you have enough AP
these are the
thing.
meta. Those are the meta classes.
I don't like the whole if you have enough AP thing, because if I had 400 AP, I could left click you one shot.
Well, that's an unreasonable number right now at this particular time. Of course.
Yeah, no, I think being able to one shot or even one combo somebody, I think it makes the PvP boring.
Someone come up to me, I got 200, like I got 400 AP. I'll be like, you dumb motherfucker, what the fuck do you mean? You mean DP? No AP. Like, get the fuck out of here with that. It's a bullshit.
I personally feel like if you're at a state in the game, if you progress so far and you've worked extra hard on your gear to get your AP and your DP to a certain stature in the game, you should, if you're fighting somebody in a 1v1 scenario and they mess up and you catch them slipping, you should be able to one combo them, and that's how the game is in the state of the game. Right. You should be able to one combo them because you've busted your ass for your gear. So why shouldn't you be able? Why shouldn't you be able to beat the hell
That's borderline Panda, because you're essentially saying you just want a guaranteed win because you're more geared, so that you might as well.
No,
you might as
that's
well
not.
just
That's
have
not.
it.
No.
I know you're not saying that, but
hold on. Let me go ahead and clarify this. Sure. If player A, which is me, and player B have both been busting our ass for gear, and we're both at a highly skilled level in terms of PvP or playing our classes, and we're fighting against each other in a 1v1 scenario, and if I catch him slipping or capitalize on his mistakes, why shouldn't I be able to win that fight for capitalizing on a mistake that he? Why should I didn't say anything about one shot. I said one combo.
I agree. I agree with that.
That's capitalizing on another player mistake. It's the same thing. It's like some of these players are allowed to compensate for their fuck ups in PvP because they're overly geared. A lot of these people are overly geared and don't know how to play their class to a certain degree. And a lot of these people are able to literally they literally get a freebie, a pat on the shoulder for their fuck up because they're overcompensated with gear.
Right.
But that's just my personal opinion. That's just my personal opinion on it. You know.
And to be honest, I mean, there's obviously different gamers that play games. People like the idea of not having to have skill and just be able to walk up to somebody and just one shot them. Actually, there's
that's when pay to win comes into play.
That's what when what?
That's when if BDO had to play to win, that's when that came into play because the people just buy the shit on, but they got
And they would.
BDO,
And
so
there's people that would.
I mean, if BDO was a paid to win, people would be doing what you just say, just go up, now you know the game, buy the shit out of the fucking pro shop, and then can one shot people or people,
But this goes back to the developers, and they're not listening to the feedback
Yeah,
of the
but
community
the
because
thing is, BDO is not like that. You have to actually go in and grind and take the time to get your shit. I mean, yeah, you
but
can
it's
sell some costumes,
borderline.
but
We're talking borderline Harambe. We're talking borderline stuff here. We're talking like it's on the edge of being abuse. It's on the edge.
of
I'm
what
not saying
being
I agree
abused.
with you. It's not pay to win. It technically is not pay to win. I cannot say this. I wanted to say it was pay to win at one time, but it is not. It is no more pay to win than any other MMO out there. So by definition, if you're comparing it to other MMOs, this game is not pay to win. And it is technically not one shot. It isn't still, but it's borderline. And with the KR patches, you can tell though that they're not listening.
To be honest with you, what people just got to get good. That's all.
That's
That's
model,
what a game
man.
should be. I think everybody that plays competitively, I would hope, wants it to be a tango. Like Panda said, they want if you got two skilled PvP players. Unfortunately, it's kind of sad to say because then you're like, okay, well then it's the first person that messes up. But that's real life. Or not real life. That's a wrong example. I got to stop using the real life example.
Culture.
But it is. But it should be skill. It should be skill based. Now it's hard because we're in an environment that's digitally created, and I don't think it's so hard to go with our vision inside our head as to what it would look like. But it to me, the closest thing would be something of a tit for tat, and being able to CC somebody down and then boom, dead. That to me is absurd.
Yo, so on a different note, let's talk about how weak Nuver is. Like
Oh, are we doing? Okay.
how easy he's able
Yeah,
to be
very
killed.
random.
that's a big problem. And I'm
Like,
pretty sure they're going to address that next week in the maintenance. They're going to buff him just like they did with the other bosses because I've seen him die in less than a minute, but in less than 2 minutes.
I mean, like when watching his
he-
health bar, you can
I
see
was
it go
at-
down. Like, so you
the
can.
thing is that I got 261 DP and I hit him first, and I'm like the only one on the server that's like hit him, and the only one that's near me because the Belly at 3 is usually no one is there. When I'm there, he doesn't even scratch me, so that's a problem,
Wow,
and
you're
the
so
boss shouldn't have
strong.
to be able to,
I'm sorry.
I'm not strong, cats. Well fitted. That's all. But yeah, that's really is a problem though. It should be able to one shot anywhere, no matter how much AP or DP you have.
I mean, like, is it that bad of an issue though?
I mean, because you can farm that shit all day. If, when people start not liking Nuver again. So I mean,
He's a very easy world boss.
I guess
to kill.
someone
He's
who
really easy.
who like just got home, the timer's 20 minutes in, and they're like, crap, I need to get in, and the Nuver boss goes down in a minute. I guess that's not very, very nice.
Literally, the first spawn. I was there for the first spawn on I think the heaviest traffic server. Nover. I have a hard time.
Nerver.
Went down. I think it was 30 seconds. I think it was glitched. I think it was a glitch, but it went 30 seconds.
Nerver.
It like instantly disappeared.
Well, I mean,
It didn't. It didn't happen after that, but that one time it did happen.
you know what I want to discuss? The viability of the Nuver versus Kudum. Is it a good option? I want chat opinions as well.
You want to go Kunum all the way.
I would definitely like to see some chat opinions on Novia versus Kudum or their current AP. Well, for their current AP offhand, I think that would be a no-brainer for them to switch and upgrade that. But when it comes to Novia versus Kudum, what do you guys think?
Because we've got the
Which would you
accuracy
go
from
with?
Kudum, we got the
I'll
more
stay with
assist.
Kunum. Kunum gives more than what just straight AP maneuver gives.
Yeah, some people. I mean, like you
else,
don't, but some people do.
Kunum gives
AP.
like EP and AP plus accuracy with it too.
People are saying
think
it's
it's-
class dependent. Some people are saying Kudum is better. It's all personal opinion.
Because for Berserker, to me, Kudum's like a plus. Maneuver is like a glass cannon. You want to build a glass cannon fucking character. Just
I think
straight
the
AP.
way I've been looking at this, my personal opinion, of course, but I believe that Kudum is like for hardcore players, and Nerver is for casual players.
Never.
So if you're a casual player, I think you should try to go kill Nover, and if you're a hardcore player, you should try to go kill Kudum.
What? Why?
There are two different levels of skill that's required to deal with those two bosses particularly. See, with Kudum, you get the defense, you get the ability to basically stay long in a battle potentially. With Nover, you're actually saying that you just want to one-shot somebody. I think the developers, I actually hate, I've talked bad about the developers, but in this particular case, I think they created two different bosses, one for the casual, one for the hardcore, and their drop in their loot is comparable to the two different styles of play.
Wait, are you serious?
And that's their culture?
Is that their culture?
Absolutely, back to the culture.
Oh my god. Kai, please.
Oh.
I think everybody here at the panel and the viewers can agree. We are at the point where we don't want to hear any more about this culture thing.
Yeah.
So if you could, please. It's 2017.
I don't understand how anything you just said has any basis or merit on anything that is factual in this game.
All right. So Kudum offers accuracy and AP and DP, and Nuver is just straight AP. Would you have to?
Or are you trying to explain it to me? Or are you just stating facts?
Oh, now I'm just stating facts so I can carry on.
Oh, okay, all right, okay.
I lost my train of thought. Okay.
I think we have a small video here real quick before we end the segment of I think Feeds protecting Novir.
Oh,
I think I'll put it in place in active topics here for you. We can play that while we wrap the end of this discussion up about this one-shot mechanics and one combo sort of talk. I know we kind of got sidetracked here heavily, but for this upcoming week, for the 2017 New Year, I can see what Man Up is trying to do, and it's 2017 trying to get some genreable PvP, 1v1s, whatever the case is. Granted, we don't know if Gravity is going to take the challenge that's been issued to them or not. Or if they're going to go to Surrender, maybe they'll go to Balanos, maybe they'll rotate their territory. We don't know. Right now, they're just holding tier 3 nodes and so forth until they decide to come out of the woodworks. But just going forward, I would definitely like to see some other guilds contesting these guilds that have been currently holding their territory. For one, I would definitely like to see Vision in action versus a potential threat against them on their territory, even LOTD. Man Up, we don't know how that's going to go for them. Right now, I don't even want to talk about them because I feel like we talk about them a lot in a lot of our segments. And I want to talk about the other guilds that we don't normally talk about. Vision, Cho Nation, that is currently allied with Vision. LOTD, that's been holding their territory for several weeks now. And even the Critical Fortune Alliance, who's gonna go after them? What other guilds are there going to go after them?
I mean, how much you gonna pay me?
What?
Honestly, any other valid opinions?
Honestly, I don't.
I have one last thing to say.
Yes,
the definition of culture: the sum of attitudes, customs, and beliefs that distinguishes one group of people.
What are you doing?
What I'm doing.
Anyways, let's continue with
I'm trying to enlighten the panel and the viewers that what I'm saying, even though you guys think I'm absolute an idiot, I know what I'm talking about.
Kashi, you're not an idiot.
I understand what you mean by the culture of the game. I do not agree with you stating that it's the developers. You don't agree with me
because you are a particular your culture. Your Let me go back to the definition. Wait 1
please
second.
Do not use Wall Street or Elitist, please.
The attitude, the customs and beliefs that you adhere to are different than mine. we've grown
Okay,
up.
no. This has nothing to do with my culture, your culture, what
In
you
the
dare
game
to,
it-
what I dare to. Your statement, by your own words, were the developers are adding to or creating, or they've allowed a certain culture to be created because of the type of game that they have made. I do not agree with the fact that the developers are to blame with anything that's going on in the game right now with the alliances and the PvP and the state of nodes and castle sieges. That is where we disagree. So I'm fully aware of what the word culture means. I don't need an English lesson from you, but thanks for your attempt at assisting me.
No, I wasn't directing it towards you, but you directed it towards me, and not just you. I don't want to call you out, Zeus. It's everybody in the panel and everybody in the stream. Well, not everybody in the stream, but people that are vocal about it, that want to try to meme me, which is fine. Listen, I'm not offended, and if I wasn't in the panel, we'd talk one-on-one, viewers. I just want to let you know. I'm not scared of you. Okay, I'm not intimidated by you, and I could address every one of your comments individually. But that's not the point. The point is, I am right. The developers obviously didn't create the culture, but they provided the mechanics in which the culture that exists now
Wait,
is
do
the
you mean
reality.
atmosphere?
No, I kind of see what he's saying.
I mean, I wouldn't think that they create the atmosphere.
It's not. I know what I'm saying is right. And if you watch back this video, you're gonna see. I'm not saying I'm right about everything. And sometimes I do get triggered and I talk about things and it goes off a tangent. But what I'm trying to say, and I know I'm right about this, is that Nover, okay, he's the casual of the accessory slot,
Wait,
the sub weapon slot item, and Kudum is the hardcore one. If you're a hardcore skilled player, you're gonna want the Kudum gear potentially. I mean, I would think you'd want that because that's gonna basically, hopefully, if the developers did it right, okay, that's gonna make you resistant to being able to be one-shotted essentially. Whereas the Nover gear
Why is that
gonna make you
more resistant to be one-shotted?
Because if the actual values worked like they should in the game, which there's
Which
speculation
they don't,
that
because
they
we
don't.
all know AP scales far beyond DP actually does right now.
Right.
So again, what's your point?
My point is, if the values that were indicated on the item were correct, which they supposedly should be, okay, then Kudum would be the hardcore loot item that people should want. Like you would go, if you were just playing the game, you would probably go to Nover because you would think that AP is a better offhand weapon. But in reality, if you actually played the game and you know skill-based game and defense and offense, you wouldn't even second guess it. You'd go play Kudum. And Kudum is a harder fight. I think we say that Nova is easy. We think that Nova is easy. I think it's going to stay that way. I think
I
it's in the
soloed
intended.
Kudum yesterday for about an hour by myself, and I died maybe once. Once you get the rotations down and you know how to dodge, you're fine. It's not that hard to deal with Kudum.
So moral of the story here, guys. Moral of the story is screw all AP accessories, screw all AP main hands, off hands, anything. All right, we're going full DP. Let's go.
What? No.
All right, AP doesn't matter. See, it's all about not getting one shot.
Just shoot them. What you gotta do? Shoot
when you say that, it does make me sound a little crazy. I understand that. And it's my opinion. I agree with you. We were talking about the one. See, it has to all go back to what we were talking about, and maybe because we're being sporadic, it isn't making sense. But when we talk about the one-shot mechanic and how I disagree with it, to me, I mean. The game is not balanced. Obviously, and I think that's important for the viewers to understand is that there is an imbalance, and that currently the only way to play this game is to one-shot people. So yes, you would want to probably go with the more AP.
Oh, okay.
Biseptimus, I'm sorry, I'm gonna respond to Biseptimus Prime here. I agree with you. I don't know what the fuck it has to do with anything either. As far as I'm concerned, when it comes to gear and items in the game, it depends on what kind of build you want to go for. I've said this before. If you can get accuracy from other items in the game and you don't need the accuracy from the Kudum, I don't see why you would have to take that for its accuracy. Same thing said for its DP. We all know that right now, in order to really overcome AP, you have to have a crazy amount of DP for it to actually make a significant difference. Once people start hitting 200, 220, 230 AP, you can have 260 DP, you can have 280 DP, and it's still going to get eaten through by AP in those amounts. So you sitting here and saying that Nover is the pro item that Kudum is the pro item and Nova is for casuals, I find that a bit
the reasoning is ridiculous though, because the
silly.
boss
A bit silly.
the boss is that you get the item from is harder. It doesn't make sense at all.
What
Kudum,
about
how long does it take?
Like,
to
we
kill
don't even
Kudum
know
compared
if
to
Nova is bugged right now. Like, we
Nova's
don't even
not
know
bugged.
that. Really? So you think it was just intended to be, oh, you know, I
think
can
it
go
was
solo
intended to
Nova
be
myself?
easy. I think it was
No,
intended for a bunch
he'll
of
definitely
entitled.
he'll definitely get buffed in the future.
So hold on. There.
Okay, can we
hold
have
on, hold on,
okay?
Kai, hold
If he
on,
doesn't get
hold
buffed,
on, Kai, hold on.
If he gets buffed, ban
Kai.
me. If he doesn't get buffed,
Kai,
then
hold on.
Sorry, okay.
You're saying that Novair is meant to be easy, right? That's so the same can be said about the other bosses that they buffed in the game already. They buff Zaka, they buff Tree, they buff Beg, they buff what you call it, Red Nose. They buffed all these other bosses in the game. So why wouldn't they do that to Novair? Seeing as players are clearing through him so quickly, they're shredding through him. Why would they not buff it to make it more of a longer lasting fight? Some longevity to it. Why wouldn't they do so?
Kashi, you can speak now.
Is it because Novair's supposed to be for casual and DP supposed to be and Kudum's supposed to be for
obviously
the tryhards?
I'm using that as a statement to get my point across. Obviously, that's not the case. You can't. But I'm trying to get my point across.
What point though?
That when we're talking, you wanted to talk about what the two items, which ones were better, and I wanted to take the debate a little bit differently. I wanted to say casual versus hardcore.
But why do you have to do that? Why does it have to become a casual versus hardcore issue? And why does one item have to be better than the other?
I'm an opinionated player that believes the game is on balance to the point of being able to one-shot somebody. Okay,
Well,
so I want to make a statement.
Hold on, that comes back to what I said moments ago. To get able to one shot, you need to earn and grind for this shit. You can't just simply come to a game and grind for an hour, think you can one shot anyone when someone's been here from the start and grind from their whole fucking lives, you know, and you know, like you say, get divorced and you know, fuck the kids, you know, but you know, they grind and they earn that shit. You can't just like go up and just like earn it in like matter of minutes, you know.
Well, I think you might be offended on a personal level, and I don't know why you would be that offended unless.
No, it's like if you don't want to go get one shot, just don't PvP. You like just get away from PvP until you.
And that's why I'm making sure that you guys, because I disagree with you wholeheartedly, Arambe. To me, I would, and this is not personal. Okay, this is from a gamer's perspective. I'm a different kind of gamer than you are. So, and I'm not saying that half these people that play BDO are on my opinion. But me being part of this podcast, I'm going to use my views to express my point of view. And unfortunately, because if I just said nonchalantly, oh, I think this gear is better because of AP and DP, that's not going to get my point across. My point was simple. I think the one-shot mechanics in this game are bad. Now, because that is, I'm not going to say it because everybody's going to meme me. But, okay? Anyway, then that might not be... Obviously, right now, currently, yes, you would want to get the more AP in this game because, unfortunately, the DP doesn't scale as well as the AP. So you would be dumb not to. Okay, but in my and do I have to explain this every time? Maybe. Unfortunately, I'm not saying I'm a genius because I'm not. I am dumb in a lot of things. Okay, and I might sound dumb, and it may be dumb, but I was trying to make a point. And
Kashi, you know I'm a filthy casual, right? And
I do believe this. If in the next patch, only in the next patch, because at some point they're gonna buff or nerf something, okay? Only in the next patch. If this coming Wednesday's patch, if they buff him, I will no longer be on this podcast. I will no longer ban.
Wait,
I will
wait,
ban
who?
myself.
What are you talking about?
Wait, what are you
Oh my
talking
god.
about?
Okay, so
If they
look
buff,
look
if
how
they buff
long.
Nova, if they buff Nova, I will ban myself.
Why?
But
Why the fuck do
Kaishi,
you
hold
do
on. I'm
that?
still not getting this because I'm trying to gain some sort of rationality out of what you said. Why wouldn't they not buff Novir as if they as why wouldn't they buff him? Because they've
It's
already
just an
buffed all the
easy
other
cash
bosses in the
flow
game.
for the whole marketplace. They have to buff it because if
Well,
people can get it easily,
the
then that
viewers,
means the marketplace is going to get ruined by it.
And would it make it okay? You use this word that Novir is for people that are casual, right? And Kudum is for people that are more top pen or tryhards. Okay, I don't know if those are the exact words that you used earlier, but wouldn't that make it? Wouldn't that make it so the casuals can do Novir a lot easier with more AP? Because realistically, all you need is more AP to kill a boss. Honestly, if you understand the mechanics and you're not getting hit, all you need
I
is more
think
AP
that's
to
the
do more
way.
damage.
I think they want. I think they want people to kill Nova. I think they want the. I think the developers are pushing the game towards a one-shot mechanic.
One shot
If you look
mechanic.
at-
You can't one shot a boss though.
Not a boss, but PvP.
But we're talking about
Look at- if you
the
look at the-
people.
But
look at the
you
success of
do
Call of
realize the
Duty.
difficulty
What
of
does
a
Call of
boss does
Duty
not
have that
stop
other-
someone from being able to get the item. All right, you hit the thing, you have a 1 in 100 or something chance of getting the item, and if you get it, you get it.
You're talking about a casual. You're not talking about somebody that learns the mechanic of an enemy. You guys learn the mechanic.
So
of Kudo,
casuals are stupid then that just can't figure shit out is what you're
Yo,
saying.
right? And
Kashi,
Nova,
Kashi, how
and
many times
Nova
you
is
gotta
their
say it?
answer. Is their
I'm a
gateway drug.
casual. Okay, I'm a casual, and I learned from being killed by fucking bosses and learning
Apparently,
their
you're
fucking
not.
shit.
You're not casual.
It's just like Dark Souls. What the fuck you mean? I go to work. I'm barely on this game, and when I'm on this game, I'm AFK flashing like every nigga in the fucking thing.
Oh,
Sorry, I said the N word. It came out. I'm pissed.
Do you
I'm
watch? Do you
sorry,
watch YouTube
but,
videos?
you know-
Do you watch YouTube videos?
Yeah, I watch YouTube videos on the new bosses from KR. Who does it?
Okay.
It's like League
You
of
do-
Legends. You just don't go in with a new chant without learning the damn moves, or going with an AI bot. You know,
Can you explain to me what's the difference between Call of Duty and Battlefield?
there's no difference.
You have a health bar?
It's like
There's no difference between Call of Duty and the Battlefield games.
no,
Kai, man,
there's
Kai,
no
you're
difference. It's
tripping
all
me
first
out right now,
person.
man. I honestly, at this point, I don't even know how far you've gone to this tangent, man. And I know we've been on the air for a very long time. We've been here for about 2 hours and 30 minutes, and I'm sure a lot of people here have things that they need to do. And while this discussion may be
Hey, I like this
in a
though.
sense
It's
hot and
pretty good.
spicy, and just to hear the opinions of some of you guys, we're gonna have to cut the segment here off in a few minutes. So I wanted to go ahead and wrap up anything else that we haven't said. And I would, at this time, I would definitely like to hear some feedback from the viewers if they have any questions or any, opinions or anything they want to state before we go offline.
If the viewers want me banned, make sure you
No,
Cash,
what's the email
chill
they can
out.
reply to? No,
Okay,
what's the
no
email
one's
they can
banning
reply
you.
to?
You're not
I
getting
wanna know.
banned. These
If you
are
wanna ban me,
some
send
of
an
these
email
people
to
are
wherever they
trolls,
say.
Okay, Kashi. No, you're not getting banned. All right.
Cashy, calm down,
Everybody gets to speak
man.
their own fucking free will. And people have their opinions, and that's fucking America. Fuck you.
No, I want to hear the people that would ban me, and then I want that list, and then I'll make sure I'll remember their names, so I'll call them out when I go on my personal
So
stream.
we have a question here from Merck. He says, "What is the definition of a casual? Please explain culture."
Cash.
That dude is just memeing. That's all. That's not a
We
legitimate
know a
question. I
lot of
don't
these
believe it.
we know a lot of these comments are going to be memes and so forth, but Kai, I don't know. I don't know what's
I
going on
agree
today,
with you.
man.
I think I might have gone on a tangent, but I know deep down that I'm making a case.
Kashi.
It is
You know
rational.
we love you, right?
No,
us
I
friends
get
and
that,
shit like
and
that.
I might have blown up myself. This podcast is I
Like
don't think it's
Overeem?
considered a podcast at this point. I don't know what we could call it. I'm not gonna label it because I've labeled enough today. But
You
I'm
don't
gonna
need a
shut up.
labeler.
I'm gonna shut up because it does have to end at some point, and I wouldn't
I feel
end
like
today.
this is ESPN with halftime with Shaquille O'Neal and everybody else. That's what I feel like this is.
Hey,
But
Kashi, it's KO. Anybody can state their own opinions here, right? It's not something where you have to hush up. It's not the government, first of all. You gotta hush up shit.
at FX, I think Kaishi is in his own guild or a small guild, and his name is Kaishi in game. So he's already stated this the last stream.
Oh,
If anybody
absolutely.
wants
You
to
can
come for
definitely.
his name is Kaishi. So
You
You
trying
can
to go
PM
pig
me.
shaming
You can
him?
private message me. You can deck on my guild. Okay, I'll give you my guild name right now. Hold on one second. My guild name is in game, and this is Arabian Nights. That's my guild name. And I'm the only person in it.
It's not that serious.
Does anybody else have anything else they want to add before we go offline, guys?
No?
Well, Arabian Nights, how you think of that, yo?
All right, so I'm gonna end off the podcast here. Thank you all for coming in. It's been a great show. It's been a little weird, but I'm sure the next not the next one, but the one on the 8th will be a lot more composed, as we're gonna have a lot of guests. Correct, Panda?
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
we are expecting a lot of new guests, some familiar faces that you guys have seen, and for some of you guys that some of you haven't heard as well. So also too on Wednesday, we do have sort of a special segment on Wednesday this week coming. So be sure to tune into that also as well. And we do appreciate you guys coming out and hanging out with us here for the duration and putting up with Kaishi's very opinionative personality. And we hope you guys
We can have a poll, though. We can have a poll.
rest of the year. And
So many
happy
people
New Year
say
to all
shut
of
up
you.
in comments. I won't talk the whole entire podcast.
Once again, thank you guys for tuning in. And it's been a pleasure. And the Bathroom Expert is now out. You guys have a wonderful evening.
Harambe.